Hellraiser debuted back in 1987, and ever since then, it has captivated a cult following. Now, going into Hellraiser, I wasn't really sure what I was expecting, so spoilers are ahead for a movie that came out in 1987. You have been warned. I will talk about certain things that will spoil the movie. And furthermore, this is not an in-depth review. This is just more of a, is it worth watching here in 2023 and beyond? So circling back to the beginning of the video, I did not know what to expect at a Hellraiser. I really didn't. Shockingly, don't know anyone that's ever seen it. So I was just kind of like, let's go into this thing. I know it has a cult following. It has like 7 to 10 Hellraiser movies. So I figured the original one had to be pretty decent. I knew it had good odds to be decent when I saw that Andrew Robinson was in the movie as a main character. And if you don't know who that is, Andrew Robinson plays Garrick in Star Trek Deep Space Nine, which is one of my favorite shows. So that in of itself, I knew I was in for a good time. So Hellraiser is a different movie than I thought I was going to get. I thought it was going to be a lot more, I guess, demonic, I guess you could say, or based like in a hellish realm. I really wasn't expecting a person to come back from the Hellraiser realm into our reality, and he's trying to get his self back, his skin back. I don't know how you want to really phrase that, by consuming people. So it's kind of like a vampire zombie demon thing, I guess you can say. So let me elaborate further. If you're a fan of vampires, if vampires don't eat, they kind of shrivel away until they get blood, right? Then they can rejuvenate. Zombies like brains and flesh and whatever, right? Depending on the zombie universe that you're talking about, of course. But you kind of have it all wrapped into this one, and there is a very interesting love story in this movie. And I'm going to loosely call it a love story because I'm going to try to keep this PG, but there's a lot of that going on. But it is just a good 80s classic horror movie. There's not a lot of frills to this. You can tell it was made with a small budget, which is not a bad thing. All the practical effects look really good, still hold up to today. A few of the special effects don't look great, but apparently the director and his buddy made them like over a weekend on a 1980s computer, so I'm not going to fault it all that much. This movie really leaves a lot up to the audience's interpretation, mainly due to the fact because we don't know how the brother gets sent to the Hellraiser realm, and furthermore, we really don't know how he comes back. They kind of explain it where the brother spills blood in the attic, but we don't know why the attic is such a special place, unless the brother performed the ritual or whatever in the attic where the blood was spilt. But they don't do a great job of explaining it or showing that he did the ritual in the attic. I guess you're just supposed to assume that or infer that. But he comes back from the Hellraiser land, and then he eventually regains his health due to Julia's help, and ever so slowly he gains back his normal self. And that's mainly the movie. There's not a lot of demonic people in it. Like Pinhead, the most famous character in Hellraiser, is really only in this movie, I think, for like 7 minutes total or something like that. He's not really in it all that much. The Hellraiser people, like when you think of Hellraiser, like those creepy characters, they're really not in this movie all that much. Maybe in these sequels they're in it a ton, but the original one here from 1987, they're not in it all that much. It reminds me a lot of Friday the 13th, where Jason's not in the first one except for the final 20 seconds when he comes out of the lake and grabs the girl. It reminds me a lot of that, where the franchise kind of transformed around Pinhead and the other people compared to the original one where they were barely even a thing, right? But do I think this film was worth watching in 2023 and beyond? I definitely think it is. I think it is a good horror movie. Definitely love all the 80s aesthetics and 80s themes in it. It's not the best movie I've ever watched by any means, but if you're a horror fan, you definitely need to watch this. It's just one of those that you kind of just have to at this point, right? I don't know anything about the sequels. We'll see if I end up watching them. I don't really have any plans to, but I'm glad I finally saw the original one. Again, I think it's worth watching if you're a horror fan. And if you don't know anything about the movie, it definitely plays into other themes that you don't initially think of when you go into the movie. Again, I don't really want to talk about too many of them because I'm trying to keep this PG, but just know that it leans more that way than like just demonic, creepy, spooky stuff. So I think I'm gonna leave it there. What are your thoughts on Hellraiser 1987? Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section, and while you're down there, if you can like the video and subscribe to the channel, that'd be greatly appreciated. Until next time, guys, everyone have a great day. Thanks for watching.